You're good.
I'm now calling to order the October 23rd, 2024 meeting of San Jose City Schools Board of Education. At this moment, we'll start by taking public comment on closed session agenda items. Specifically, those items are B1, student expulsions, B2, conference with legal counsel on existing litigation, B3, conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation, and B4, public employee performance evaluation. Do we have any comment cards?
President Medina, there are no comment cards.
Seeing no comments, we will now recess to closed session. We're now reconvening the October 23rd, 2024 meeting of San Jose City Schools Board of Education. If you will all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for our territorial land acknowledgement. And now please remain standing. I'd like to welcome June Grable to lead us in our territorial land acknowledgement.
The Santa Rosa City School District and its governing body acknowledge that our schools are located on the unceded, ancestral, and current lands of the first people of this area, the Southern Pomo and Kashaya, the Coast Miwok, the Mishiwa Wapo, and First People from time immemorial. We live, work, and go to school on lands that have spiritual and material significance for its original stewards. We honor the ancestors of this land, whose wisdom and traditions continue to enrich our community today. We acknowledge the ongoing impact of colonization and genocide, and we express our commitment to understanding and addressing the injustices faced by the First People. As we gather here, we recognize our responsibility to listen to Indigenous voices and to engage in meaningful dialogue about reconciliation and justice. Through this land acknowledgement, we affirm our commitment to recouple the lost, the stolen, and the suppressed histories that must not be forgotten. For the past and the present, for the future of our community, with honor, justice, and with gratitude, we give respect for the land and the first people who it belongs to.
Oh, thank you, June. You may all be seated now. Before we continue, board, Trustee McNally is unable to attend. She would like to attend virtually under just cause reasons. Trustee McNally, could you please state your just cause for the board?
Hey everyone, I'm requesting to participate under just cause reason 2, contagious illness.
Thank you. Board, at this moment, we would take a vote to decide whether we will allow Trustee McNally to participate. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to move to allow Trustee McNally to participate under excused reasons.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee De La Cruz, seconded by Trustee Manieri. The vote, please.
Student Board Member Zaninga.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri.
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee McNally.
Aye.
She doesn't vote.
Okay. Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee Flores.
Aye.
President Medina.
Aye. Thank you. Given that Trustee McNally will be participating via teleconference due to just cause, this means that people are also able to comment via Zoom online. And so we'll now move on with the rest of the agenda. Let's see. So there are, under C3, there's no actions taken in closed session. C4, items considered and closed for action in open session. We do have our B1 items. Board, could I get a motion on student expulsion case number 2024-25-06?
Move to approve?
I'll second.
Moved by trustee Flores, seconded by trustee Sheffield. The vote, please.
Trustee Flores,
Aye.
trustee Sheffield,
Aye.
trustee De La Cruz,
Aye.
trustee McNally,
Abstain.
trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. Could I get a motion on case 2024-25-07?
Move to approve the recommendation of the stipulated expulsion.
Second?
Moved by trustee Sheffield, seconded by trustee Flores. Vote, please.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee Flores,
Aye.
trustee De La Cruz,
Aye.
trustee McNally,
Abstain.
trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. Board, moving on to item C5, statements of abstention. Are there any statements of abstention? Seeing none, moving on to item O.
I want to pull item G10, approval of Santa Rosa High School Symphonic Band to travel to New York.
Okay,
I will be a parent chaperone, so I should not vote on that, and I will leave when this is being voted on.
okay, so item G10 was pulled, which is to adjustments of the agenda. Any other adjustments to the agenda, board? Seeing none, are there any objections to approving the agenda as adjusted? Any objections to that? None? Okay. So move on to special presentations. Let's see, who do we got? Let's go with Abraham Lincoln Elementary School first today.
Good evening, school board. I'd like to present Abraham Lincoln's awards for this evening. I'm Janine Wilson, principal of Abraham Lincoln. Before you is Santana Solis. He is a sixth grader at our school, and he is the recipient of the award for tonight. A well-deserving, for sure. Santana is a sixth grade student in Mr. Azarmi's special day class. He works very hard every day and is proud of the work he does. He has made a lot of growth since he first came to Abraham Lincoln in first grade. He is respectful and kind to everyone he meets and interacts with during the day. Santana has a great friendly personality and will be the first to invite another student or to hang out on the playground. He is also willing to share interesting facts or ask various questions to satisfy his very ever-curious mind. In fact, he was doing that while we were sitting waiting for things to begin. Santana enjoys creating, coloring, and gaming. While at school, his favorite topic is math, but recess is his favorite time of day so he can play and interact with his many friends. Santana has a dream of becoming a boxer when he is older. He looks up to boxers such as Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Hopefully one day we will be cheering on Santana in the ring to become the heavyweight boxing champion. Santana is an all-around great person who is well deserving of Abraham Lincoln's Student of the Month. Next, I would like to invite our classified employee of the month for Abraham Lincoln, Bonnie Lopez. If I get emotional, I apologize. Bonnie Lopez is the Walk to Read instructional assistant at Abraham Lincoln. Bonnie is more than just an instructional assistant, yet is an essential part of the Abraham Lincoln family and community. Bonnie joined Abraham Lincoln in 2016. Over the years, we have relied heavily on Bonnie, and she has never let us down. Whether there was a TOSA supporting the intervention program or not, Bonnie did not let that affect her supporting the staff or students. Bonnie has created very strong, trusting relationships with the students. There have been multiple times over the years where the students have requested Bonnie as the trusted adult to speak with when they felt uncomfortable or sad. Bonnie takes pride in her work and everything she does. However, she is very humble and does not like the spotlight on her for her work. In fact, she was not very excited about coming to have the spotlight tonight. Her work is very prompt and accurate. Throughout the years, Bonnie has been a support for interpreting when needed. She is always willing and does so with a smile. She builds relationships with everyone she encounters and is often seen laughing and talking with students outside of the classroom. When students are having a hard time and becoming frustrated, she has the ability to quickly calm the students down and re-engage them. Bonnie is never without a smile, is positive, kind, sincere, energetic, and a team player, and willing to go above and beyond every day. She will be the first to lend a hand, open a door, or go the extra mile without even being asked. Her pride for Abraham Lincoln is seen not only in her tremendous work, but in how she respects and treats everyone she encounters. Bonnie is an amazing employee and well-deserving of this award. And last but not least, our certificated employee of the month for Abraham Lincoln, Audrey Mosquera. Now for sure, I hope I don't get emotional. Both of these ladies have been with me through my tenure at Abraham Lincoln, and they are both greatly deserving of these awards. Audrey Mosquera, also known as Miss Audrey, is a school counselor at Abraham Lincoln. Audrey joined Abraham Lincoln team in 2019. It was very apparent when she first started that Lincoln had hit the jackpot. Audrey has never been seen or heard without anything other than a friendly, patient, and calm voice. This in and of itself is amazing because she takes on so much every day and does not let it faze her. The students immediately created strong, trusting relationships with Miss Audrey. She always makes time for the students, sometimes even during her lunch. The students anxiously await for the day that she has time to have lunch bunch and becomes very excited when they are the ones selected. Audrey does not just work with the students one-on-one or in small groups. She attends every class at least once a month and touches the lives of every student at Lincoln. Audrey has volunteered to be involved in activities such as Winter Festival, multicultural event, student store, snack shacks, and anywhere else she's needed. Audrey's heart and time is truly invested in the staff, students, and families of Abraham Lincoln. She does not only give 100%, but she is someone who consistently goes above and beyond. Her positive and friendly demeanor makes working with her enjoyable. Audrey is a team player and collaborates with the entire staff, including the administration. Audrey is flexible and willing and ready to work tirelessly for the Lincoln staff, students, parents, and community. Audrey is a tremendous asset to Abraham Lincoln and is well deserving of this award.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. Now we will move on to Herbert Slater Middle School. Principal Partika.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this time to thank the board and our.
Turn on the mic.
Take two. All right. I would like to take this moment to thank our board and our superintendent for this moment to give thanks to those who mean so much to the Slater community and to myself as well. I know I get very busy, so an opportunity like this is just an amazing opportunity to just sit back, reflect, and give thanks to those who deserve it. So I thank you once more. I would like to introduce our student of the month, Carter Nelms. Carter Nelms is an amazing student with a bright future ahead. He has a gift of putting smiles on other people's faces. He lights up a room or a hallway with his positivity and his joy. A little bit about Carter. When asked what his dream job would be, he said that he would like a job that helped others in need. He has a deep passion for the well-being of others and would like to start a nonprofit organization one day to do just that. Carter is also an amazing musician, and his instrument of choice is the percussions. Carter is a great ambassador for our school and recently helped as a co-host for our family informational night for incoming families. When asked who his heroes are, he said both his mom and his dad. Those are his heroes. According to teachers, Carter gets things done. One said, "I can always count on him in leadership. He is a natural leader. He comes up with solutions and works well with his peers and adults. He is also an excellent student. He works hard at his grades and turns in his best work. He asks good questions and adds to the discussions. I'm lucky to have him in 2 classes this year." Another one said, "Carter has been my student for 5 years from Strawberry through Slater, and he has always been extremely hardworking and responsible. He is an amazing musician and the percussion section leader as well as leader in band class. He often helps those around him as well as reminds me about things I forget. Carter puts in the work to improve as a musician and has shown tremendous growth in his time at Slater. He contributes so much to the group with his talent, attitude, and sense of humor. Even though Carter is doing extremely well with his grades, school is so much more than just scores on tests for Carter. His connections with teachers and peers shows that school for Carter is about connections and making the most out of every moment. He loves Slater and truly cares about the success of our school. As a principal, I am very proud of Carter and know that he has a bright future ahead. This bright future does not just entail academics, but extends to everything he hopes to accomplish. I'm certain of it. Slater is lucky to have Carter, and I hope he will continue to make a difference in school and in the lives of others. It is with great joy that I give this award to Carter Nelms for the Student of the Award month. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our classified employee of the month, Zachary Ross. Oh my God. All right. Zachary, all right. Zachary Ross is one of a kind, a true difference maker. His passion for our school success and helping others greatly impacts Slater School every single day. In summation, our staff had this to say about Mr. Ross. He has made a huge impact on many of our students, especially students that need a positive male role model. Forever balancing a sense of authority and compassion, Ross remains a constant and reliable force on our campus. He always interacts with students in a positive way, even if he's working with them because of behavior concerns. Zach does many things that go beyond the scope of his job, working beyond his hours or getting supplies for a student in need because he truly cares. Ross has also made very positive connections with the staff for all the same reasons. He has been a source of positivity, especially on days when there are challenges. He is a benefit to our staff, our students, our parents, and Slater. We are grateful that he is a Spartan. For me, Ross is an advocate for many. He is able to reach our most challenging students and guide them to make better decisions. He works well not only with students, but with staff, and often works to mend damaged relationships that have developed between students. He cares deeply about our community and is a dynamic role model for us all. My hope is that he truly knows his importance to our community and that he will continue to be guided by his passions. As a principal, I am grateful for Mr. Ross' dedication to staff and students. He has been a voice for our teachers and students for a safer and more caring campus. Slater is in his heart, and his passion for a brighter future for all is undeniable. Mr. Ross is truly one of a kind, and it's with great pride that I present him with the Classified Employee of the Month award. I now have the pleasure of inviting up our certificated employee of the month, Wendy Provost. Okay. All right. It's with great pleasure that I have this opportunity to share with Wendy Provost and others her importance to the Slater community. Wendy Provost is an amazing asset to Slater. She's a history and leadership teacher and much more. She is a mentor and a constant source of support for those who need it. She is a quiet leader that leads by example. Her students and staff love her, and she is fully committed to all. Wendy is also very humble. Upon hearing about this award, her first words were, "Wait, you're kidding, right?" To answer her, "Nope, we are not. You are amazing." Some things our staff have said about her are, the depth of knowledge Provost has is not only her subject matter, but about ways to support students and staff. It is unmatched. Wendy Provost's passion for helping students has long inspired me to be a better teacher. Wendy works with the most challenging, needy students at our school with acceptance, affection, and expectations. Slater Middle School is truly lucky to have such an exceptional teacher and human being. I myself as principal have also benefited from her guidance, compassion, and wisdom. She is fully committed to the continued success of our school, staff, and students alike. She is the chair of our proud history department and is guiding them towards continuous growth. Wendy and her leadership team have also taken our commitment to having the best school culture and climate possible to new levels. Whether it's next level rallies, dances, or Spirit Week, which is next week, our school has noticed a great difference in the amount of joy brought to our school because of this leadership. It is with great pride that I get to award Wendy Provost the Certificated Employee of the Month Award. I look forward to many years of service and difference making alongside her.
Thank you, Mr. Martika. And again, congratulations to all of this month's award recipients. We will now be moving on to our next item, which is school site parent organization updates. We will again start with Abraham Lincoln. Looks like I have Maria Bautista and Araceli Orozco presenting.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva de las escuelas de Santa Rosa.
¿Se puede arrimar un poquito más al micrófono? Gracias.
Buenas tardes, Superintendente Daisy Morales. Buenas tardes a todos los que asistieron a esta reunión de la Junta Directiva. Mi nombre es Araceli Orozco. Me siento muy orgullosa de ser representante de ILAC de la Escuela Abraham Lincoln. He colaborado con la escuela de mis hijos desde hace 7 años. Siendo una madre de ILAC, he aprendido el gran impacto que tienen mis hijos al involucrarme en las actividades y reuniones de la escuela. En cada una de las reuniones de ILAC Se nos instruye sobre diferentes temas que nos ayudan como padres a que nuestros hijos tengan éxito en la escuela, especialmente si son aprendices de inglés. Es gratificante saber que el distrito y la escuela siguen las regulaciones de los exámenes del PAC, tanto iniciales como sumativos. De acuerdo a los resultados de estos exámenes, tanto maestros como padres podemos apreciar el progreso de nuestros estudiantes en el idioma inglés. Es muy gratificante saber que la escuela tiene reuniones del Comité de Revisión de Aceleración del Idioma, LARC, donde se discuten los procesos o la ayuda necesaria para que nuestros estudiantes aprendices de inglés avancen en el dominio del inglés y puedan ser reclasificados. Quiero añadir que en las reuniones de ILAC se nos da orientación sobre los servicios educativos que ofrece Lincoln a los aprendices del inglés, como tutoría después de la escuela, trabajar en grupos pequeños en el programa, caminar hacia la lectura. El nuevo programa de fonología y un mínimo de 30 minutos en clase para ayudar a acelerar el dominio del idioma. Esperamos que el cambio del programa Vamos a Aprender al programa de Estoy Listo amplíe las habilidades y destrezas de nuestros estudiantes aprendices de inglés. Se nos ha orientado sobre lo importante que es la asistencia diaria de los estudiantes, porque cuando los estudiantes tienen una buena asistencia, tienen más oportunidades de aprendizaje. También contamos con el apoyo de Educación Migrante, que este año está dando la tutoría en persona y por medio de Zoom. Todo lo anterior está estipulado en el plan de la Escuela Lincoln. Por último, los padres de familia de Lincoln nos sentimos muy honrados de que nuestra escuela recibió una beca por parte de Hecho en Santa Rosa. Se pintaron las puertas de los salones de clase con mensajes e imágenes positivas. Deseamos que nuestra comunidad escolar siempre promueva mensajes contra el racismo, el odio, el acoso estudiantil y la violencia. Doy las gracias de todo corazón a todas las personas que se están a cargo del bienestar educativo de nuestros estudiantes en las escuelas de Santa Rosa. Gracias.
Gracias a usted.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Lopez, and I will be interpreting what Ms. Araceli Orozco just said. Good afternoon, members of the Santa Rosa City School Boards. Good afternoon, Superintendent Dr. Morales. Good afternoon to all of those attending this board meeting. My name is Araceli Orozco. I am very proud to be the ELAC representative of Abraham Lincoln School. I have collaborated with my children's school for 3 years. Being an ELAC mother, I have learned the great impact that being involved in school activities and meetings has on my children. In each of the ELAC meetings, we are instructed on different topics that help us parents how to support our children to be successful in school, especially if they are English learners. It is very gratifying to know that the district and the school follow the LPAC testing regulations, both of the initial and summative. According to the results of these exams, both teachers and parents can appreciate the progress of our students in the English language. It is very gratifying to know that the school has Language Acceleration Review Committee, LARC, where the processes or support needed for our English learner students to advance in English proficiency and be reclassified are discussed. I would like to add that at ELAC meetings, we are given guidance on the educational services Lincoln offers to English learners, such as after-school tutoring, working in small groups on the Walk to Read program, the new phonics program, and a minimum of 30 minutes in the class to help accelerate language proficiency. We hope that the change from the Let's Go Learn program to the iReady program will expand the skills and abilities of our English learner students. We also have been guided on how important daily student attendance is, because when students have a good attendance, they have more learning opportunities. We also have the support of migrant education, which this year is provided tutoring in person and through Zoom. All of the above is stipulated in the Lincoln School Plan. Lastly, Lincoln parents are very honored that our school received a grant from Hecho en Santa Rosa and classroom doors were painted with positive messages and images. We hope that our school community will always promote messages against racism, hate, bullying, and violence. I wholeheartedly thank you to all the people who are in charge of the educational well-being of our students in Santa Rosa City Schools.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva de la Escuela de Santa Rosa. Superintendente, doctor Morales, los padres de familia de la Escuela Lincoln, le damos la más cordial bienvenida a nuestro distrito. Buenas tardes a todos los asistentes a esta reunión de la Junta Directiva. Mi nombre es María Bautista y me siento muy feliz y orgullosa de ser la presidenta de la Organización de Padres y Maestros del PFO de la Escuela Abraham Lincoln. Por varios años ya. Empecé a colaborar con la escuela desde el 2020 hasta la fecha. Nuestra organización se encarga de promover el espíritu estudiantil, hacer que nuestros estudiantes y familias se sientan orgullosos de pertenecer a la Escuela Lincoln, vistiendo la playera, pants, chamarra de la escuela todos los días viernes. Dentro de las actividades que realizamos para nuestra comunidad escolar, planeamos la noche de regreso a la escuela y un desfile de Halloween. Nuestro siguiente evento será el Festival de Invierno en diciembre. Por tercera vez, planeamos tener nuestra noche multicultural alrededor de marzo. El evento multicultural del año pasado fue un éxito y buscamos mejorarlo año con año. Tener más música, comida y bailes regionales que representan la cultura de algunos de nuestros estudiantes. En este año escolar, en nuestras reuniones de PFO, se están integrando nuevos padres, lo que es muy importante que más padres se involucren en las actividades escolares. Nuestros hijos se sienten muy orgullosos cuando ven que sus padres participan en la escuela y los motiva a ser mejores estudiantes. También nos encargamos de organizar la celebración del Día del Niño a finales de abril, donde proveemos libros gratis para los estudiantes para promover la lectura en los niños. Solo me resta decir que seguimos trabajando en mejorar la apariencia de nuestra escuela en la parte interior. Deseamos llenar la escuela de flores y plantas para que se vea más atractiva y bonita. Que los estudiantes, los padres de familia y los maestros se sientan bienvenidos y empiecen con gusto cada día de instrucción académica. Muchísimas gracias por su atención. Es un honor poder presentarnos en esta reunión de la Junta Directiva de las Escuelas de Santa Rosa. Gracias.
Gracias, María.
Good afternoon, members of the Santa Rosa City School Board. Superintendent Dr. Morales, the parents of Lincoln Elementary School cordially welcome you to our district. Good afternoon to all of those attending this board meeting. My name is Maria Bautista, and I am very happy and proud to be the president of the Parent Faculty Organization, PFO, of Abraham Lincoln School for several years now. I started collaborating with the school from 2020 to this day. Our organization is responsible for promoting student spirit, making our students and family feel proud to belong to Lincoln School for wearing the school shirt, pants, or jacket. Among the activities that we carry out for our school community, we plan back to school night, a Halloween parade, and our next event will be the Winter Festival in December. For the third time, we will plan to have our annual multicultural night around March. Last year was Lincoln's second multicultural event, which was a success. And we are looking to grow and have more music, food, and regional dances that represent the culture of some of our students. This school year, new parents are joining our PFO meetings, which is very important for more parents to get involved in school activities. Our children feel very proud when they see their parents participate in school and motivate them to be better students. We are also in charge of organizing the Children's Day celebration at the end of April, where we provide free books for our students to promote reading. It only remains for me to say that we continue working on improving the appearance of our school on the inside. We want to fill the school with flowers and plants so that it looks more attractive and beautiful. So the students, parents, and teachers feel welcome and begin each day of academic instructions with pleasure. Thank you very much for your attention. It is an honor to be able to present ourselves at this meeting of the board of the Santa Rosa City Schools.
Thank you. De nuevo, gracias a las dos por presentar. Gracias. Next, we'll move on to Herbert Slater Middle School. I have Blanca Alcantar and Amanda Dalton.
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva. Como padre,
¿Se puede
quiero-
acercar más al micrófono, por favor?
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva. Como padre, quiero expresar mi profundo agradecimiento por el Comité Asesor de Aprendices de Inglés, o ILAC, el papel crucial que desempeña en nuestra comunidad escolar. ILAC no solo amplifica las voces de los padres de estudiantes de inglés, sino también fomenta la colaboración entre las familias y los educadores. Esta asociación es vital para crear un entorno inclusivo donde cada estudiante se sienta valorado y apoyado. Y las ideas y precauciones que compartimos a través de ILAC ayudan a informar las políticas escolares, las decisiones circulares y la asignación de recursos, asegurando que nuestros hijos reciban la atención necesaria para tener éxito tanto académica como socialmente. Además, ILAC proporciona un apoyo invaluable a las familias que navegan por el sistema educativo a través de talleres, recursos y eventos comunitarios. Nos empoderan para abogar por nuestros hijos y mejorar su experiencia educativa. Les pido a todos ustedes que continúen invirtiendo y apoyando las iniciativas de ILAC. Al hacerlo, fortalecemos nuestro compromiso con la equidad y la inclusión, haciendo nuestra escuela un lugar acogedor para cada estudiante sin importar su origen lingüístico. Como madre involucrada en ILAC, en la escuela intermedia Slater, yo, Blanca, he encontrado esta experiencia increíblemente gratificante. Ser padre de ILAC me ha permitido conocer con otros padres y educadores que comparten el mismo compromiso con el éxito de nuestros hijos. Lo que más aprecio de mi participación es la oportunidad de que mi voz sea escuchada. Las reuniones nos han brindado una plataforma para discutir los desafíos únicos que enfrentan nuestros hijos como aprendices de inglés y colaborar en soluciones. Valoro los resultados y la información que recibimos, lo que nos emprenda para apoyar la educación de nuestros hijos en casa. Además, he disfrutado del aspecto de creación de comunidad en ILAC, creador a una red de apoyo de padres que entienden el camino que estamos recorriendo. Compartimos experiencias, celebramos los logros de nuestros hijos y trabajamos juntos para abogar por el apoyo y los recursos necesarios en nuestra escuela. En general, mi participación en ILAC ha profundizado mi conexión con la escuela y fortalecido mi capacidad para contribuir positivamente a la experiencia educativa de mi hija. Espero continuar este importante trabajo junto a otros padres y educadores.
Good evening, members of the Board of
Gracias.
Directors. Am I starting? Oh, sorry, I'm not close enough. I've never been told I'm quiet, sorry. Good evening, members of the Board of Directors. As a mother, I want to express my deep appreciation for the English Advisory Committee, or ELAC, and the crucial role it plays in our academic community. ELAC not only amplifies the voices of parents or English learners, but also facilitates collaboration between families and educators. The partnership is vital to create an inclusive environment where every student feels empowered and supported. The ideas and concerns we share through ELAC help inform school policies, curriculum decisions, and resource allocation, ensuring our children receive the attention needed to be academically and socially successful. Additionally, ELAC provides invaluable assistance to families navigating the education system. Through workshops, resources, and community events, we are empowered to advocate for our children and enhance their educational experience. We encourage all of you to coordinate by investing in and supporting ELAC initiatives. By doing so, we strengthen our commitment to equity and inclusion, making our schools a welcoming place for every student, regardless of their linguistic background. As a parent involved in ELAC at Slater Middle School, I, Blanca, have found this experience incredibly rewarding. Being part of the ELAC has allowed me to connect with other parents and educators who share the same commitment to the success of our students. What I appreciate most about my involvement is the opportunity to have my voice heard. The meetings give us a platform to discuss the unique challenges our children face as English learners and to collaborate on solutions. I value the resources and information we receive, which empowers us to support our children's education in the future. Furthermore, this didn't translate correctly, so I apologize. I am a part of building community building aspect of ELAC. Oh, I appreciate the community building aspect of ELAC. I have created a supportive network of parents who understand the path we are taking. We share experiences, celebrate our children's accomplishments, and work together to foster the support and resources needed at our school. Overall, my involvement in ELAC has deepened my connection to the school and strengthened my ability to positively contribute to my child's educational experience. I look forward to continuing this important work alongside other parents and educators.
Thank you.
And I also want to add that Blanca was very nervous, as I know a lot of parents are. And she has been at all of our ELAC meetings. She's amazing. And when we asked for a volunteer to be president, she stepped up, no problem. So that's all I want to say. I don't
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda Dalton, the president of the Herbert Slater Parent Teacher Organization, PTO. 2 months into the school year, our PTO is thriving with 135 members. We have raised $2,839.80, which is over a quarter of our total annual goal. This week, Slater is hosting a significant event. The PTO funds student incentives, including the Renaissance Program and Pride Pages. We collaborate on and run events such as the Warm Welcome Back event, Bingo Night, and Teacher Appreciation events. Our Spring Bingo Night was one of the most successful school events, attracting over 200 attendees. Last year, we organized our first 8th grade dance to celebrate our promoting 8th graders. We help fund field trips, provide much needed classroom supplies, provide volunteers for school dances, and give back to our students through our backpack drive, hygiene kits, and coat drive. All PTO fundraisers aim to support students on campus. We are dedicated to enhancing Slater to better support our kids and the community. Middle school spans 2 important years in our children's development, and they need our support now more than ever. In this brief time, students transition from being small 6th graders to nearly adults. Many can easily feel lost during this period. Creating a welcoming school environment with the support and guidance of parents and staff can make a significant difference for these students. This week, Slater will showcase the talents of our performing arts students at our Fall Festival, taking place on Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. A free event is open to all and will feature performances from our dance team, drama club, and musicians, along with a trunk or treat, food, a Dia de los Muertos altar, face painting by our art students, and more. So we invite all of you and hope you can come out and support Slater. With the continued assistance and support of our administration, we plan to keep these events going and integrate them into our community framework. I have heard from many on campus that the overall atmosphere has improved compared to last year, and I attribute this positive change to our new administration. I look forward to seeing the further transformations this leadership will bring to our school. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Y gracias, Blanca, por levantar su voz. We will now move on to our public comment on non-agenda and consent items. I do have several blue cards here. We're going to limit time to 2 minutes for speakers. I will be calling out 3 cards at a time. If I call out your name, be prepared to go to one of the podiums. Again, this is for non-agenda or consent items. And after I get through the cards, we will call out for folks on Zoom that
President
may
Medina.
want to comment. So I'm going to take a quick minute to allow folks that are leaving to head on out, and then we'll get started. But the first 3 people that I have are Diego Argueta, Chris Gray, and Angel Ortega.
President Medina, can we also ask if someone is making public comment, if they need translation, if they can let us know, and we'll be sure to have our translator up there. I think there's at least one person that needs translation, but we didn't mark it down.
Si necesitan traducción y si quieren comentar y necesitan traducción, por favor déjenle saber a la traductora que está allá en la esquina con la mano para arriba antes de que vayan a hablar, por favor. And there's a few seats that have opened up, so if you're standing, feel free to find a seat real quick. All right, and if we could get the door closed up there, that way all the noise is, okay, it's automatic. All right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started again. That's 2 minutes. We will start off with Diego, followed by Chris Gray, followed by Angel Ortega. Diego? You'll have 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I'm mostly gonna question you guys about a few stuff that I've been recently seeing at my school. One, I feel like hasn't been much supervision at my school, like in regards to attendance. Like, for example, on Monday, I saw 20 students by the science building that were literally just doing nothing. And although staff came to like separate them, they really didn't give them much of a punishment, which I feel like they should probably have like 20, like even having 20 students by the science building, literally during the middle of class is honestly like unacceptable already at this point. Like that's an absurd amount. Like we should even have 0, I mean 20. Second of all, like in the bathrooms, like recently there's been a lot of drugs, particularly weed that's going into the bathrooms. Like I can't even go to the boys' bathroom anymore without the feeling that I'm gonna be hotboxed. Like it is getting like really, really annoying. And third of all, and I'm speaking for myself on this, I feel like that, I don't know, like the board is like being a bit unfair when it comes to like cutting some budget issues, particularly like on restorative and on discipline, because honestly, like even though you guys owe $20 million in debt, I feel like you should probably like not cut it. Like if you're gonna cut it, like do it in a way that's at least not gonna harm anyone, because like many people use restorative and therapy and while also using like disciplinary measures like detention, suspension, all of that. And I'm just wondering, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Diego. Next, we have Chris Gray, followed by Angel Ortega, followed by Carrie Taylor.
Dear Superintendent Morales, President Medina, and members of the board, I'm here today to talk about the increase in district childcare fees. My name is Chris Gray, and I'm a parent of a kindergartner in SRCS. I'm also a classified employee of the district and work at LC Allen High School. Because I have a disability, I only work until 1:15 each day. Even then, I still am not able to pick up my child at 1:05 when kindergarten ends. For this reason, my child is in the district childcare program. We use what's called the KinderCare Bridge, the hour when kindergarten gets out to when school ends for older grades. Shortly before my child started in August, we were notified that the KinderCare drop-in rate listed on the current childcare fee schedule was not offered and that we must pay $364 a month. We felt this was really expensive given we would only use the KinderCare hour, which is free for TKK children who have older siblings. Since August, we have received 2 parent letters with new fee schedules. The first notified us that we must now pay $520 a month. The second letter, $540 a month. In between revisions of the fee schedule, I reached out to Michael Reimer, who supervises the child care department, to share our concerns in hopes that he would consider families like mine who only need a minimal amount of aftercare to get by for kindergarten. He said he would share my concerns with the committee he was on that determines the fees. But as you can see, not only was my feedback not considered, but Michael and his team increased childcare prices, which are now the highest in the county. We are a public school district, not a for-profit entity. I understand the financial situation SRCS is in. However, there is no harm in providing more tiered options that consider the aftercare needs of different families. Asking a family who uses less than 5 hours a week to pay the same price as families who use 25 hours a week is thoughtless. Why are we creating unnecessary financial hardships for hardworking parents, many of which are SRCS employees? This is not the way we reduce our budget deficit. My ask is to delay the new child fee schedule that is to be used starting November 1st, so that actual data be collected from parents and other local school districts to ensure a thorough and
Thank you.
thoughtful tier fee schedule be created.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Chris. Next, I have Angel Ortega, followed by Carrie Taylor, followed by Marla Manzanares.
Hello, cool. Thank you for having me. My name is Angel. I am an attendance tech, bilingual interpreter, and coach for the softball and girls soccer teams at LC Allen High School. I am also an alum of LC Allen, having graduated in 2016. Go Lobos. This may start off as anecdotal, but trust, my anecdote is pertinent to your lack of action. I sustained an injury not long ago that left my leg broken in 2 places, my ankle fractured, and my foot dislocated. I'm happy to say my surgery went well, and my path to recovery has been nothing but smooth. I'm extremely lucky and blessed that I have a job that gives me health insurance, and I have an admin team at LC that has and continues to support me through thick and thin. But the fact of the matter is, on top of having to put things on hold in my life financially and having to maneuver the unaffordable cost of living in Santa Rosa, I now have medical expenses that I have to pay out of pocket with a raise that I don't have. So my question is, why is that, school board? Why don't we have a raise? Do you think we classified staff are not subject to sudden life events? Are we not integral to the day-to-day and long-term operations of our respective school sites? Are we not valued role models that our kids look up to? Why do you overlook us? At a recent board meeting, it's my understanding that the board passed a resolution to make October Coaches Appreciation Month. As a coach, all I have to say to that is, cool. But as a classified staff member, what I have to say is, instead of passing ceremonial resolutions, come to the table and negotiate some actual beneficial resolutions. Thank you, CSCA staff, for being here. Shout out LC Allen, shout out Southwest Santa Rosa. I yield my time.
Thank you, Angel. Hope you heal well and soon. Carrie Taylor, followed by Marla Manzanares, followed by Anthony Weecoin, it looks like. Carrie?
Okay, good evening. My name is Carrie Taylor. I'm a restorative specialist at Biela Elementary, and I'm here once again in support of all the classified employees throughout the district. I'm pleading with you, come to the table with a decent proposal. We show up every day at our jobs and work tremendously hard, and we're feeling like we don't even matter. But let me be perfectly clear. We are still going strong and will continue to show up in numbers until you actually hear us. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Next, I have Marla Manzanares, followed by Anthony Puicoin and Mireya de la Cruz. Marla?
Yes. Good evening, school board members and Dr. Morales. I've been with our district probably about 15 years. I've been in this field with special ed and RSP for approximately 30 years. And I've never, ever in my career had to show up here and fight for what I feel is justified as a raise. We're the backbone of the schools, and we work hard. I'm at the Santa Rosa Middle School, and I can honestly say that I love my job. I love working there. I love the kids, the staff, certified, classified, admin. They give 200%. And so it isn't my job. It's the lack of, I can't pay my bills. I'm married. I make less money now than I did before I got my college education. And, you know, I was working 40 hours a week, full benefits, everything. And over those many, many years, and this was in Humboldt and here, there's so many cutbacks. And the fact is that we're so dedicated. You know, we're not there to get rich. We're there just to survive and take care of our kids, because I think each and every one of us really love our kids and we want to make a difference in their lives. But we're overlooked with a raise and just recognition. To me, it's a slap in the face. It's really appalling. And I'm not just speaking out for myself, I'm speaking out for all the members of CSCA 75. You know, we do show up every day and we give our best, and it's really disturbing to me that we were overlooked. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Anthony Puicoin, followed by Mireya de la Cruz, followed by Ana Eras.
Mr. Board President, Superintendent, members of the board, my name is Anthony Wielden. I've lived in Sonoma County since 1972. I'm here to ask this board to change the name of Rincon Valley Middle School to the Carol Ellis Middle School. This request is based on the contributions Carol Ellis made to this district, to its students, and to the community at large. The board has an opportunity to name a school after a former teacher at that school. That would be a first. That would also honor the legacy of this district professional who showed as a teacher and as an administrator that excellence can be achieved. The name Rincon Valley does not symbolize or stand for anything. The name Carol Ellis stands for excellence, dedication, commitment, and achievement. I ask that you direct staff to prepare a report to determine exactly how many years she worked for this district, how many schools she actually taught at. Carol Ellis came from the segregated South, and she was committed to public education. She was committed to change. I ask this board to commit to change of Rincon Valley Middle School to Carol Ellis Middle School. Y para terminar en español, eso es importante porque éxito is the goal of this board, of this district, and was the goal of Carol Ellis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wielden. Next, I have Mireya de la Cruz, followed by Ana Eras, followed by Kathy Bezzini. Mireya?
Good evening, Superintendent Morales and members of the Board of Education. My name is Mireya de la Cruz. I am the Family Engagement Facilitator at Comstock Middle School. I am here to speak in regards to the information presented at our last Family Engagement Facilitator meeting. We were told that we will now be supporting the Special Education Department in translating for, quote, simple emergency IEPs. In my experience, having worked in the education field for over 24 years, there is no such thing as a, quote, simple IEP. Parents don't always understand what's being said to them. As a translator, one must not only translate, but interpret at the level of understanding of the parents. It is unrealistic to think that we can pause the meeting to ask for clarification or take notes, so we can explain the legal terminology being used to the parents. The job description of the district translator clearly states, and I quote, produces verbatim translations, idiomatic, simultaneous, and consecutive interpretations in legal situations, such as an IEP. We are being told to do this without proper training, compensation, or legal support for that matter, if and when a parent decides to sue due to inadequate translation and/or interpretation. The presentation we were giving at the beginning of the meeting hardly suffices as a training. In order to be trained, one must be presented with the information, given the opportunity to practice that information, and later evaluated to ensure one's proficiency in the subject trained in. That did not occur at the meeting. Even though questions were asked repeatedly by several of us during the meeting, we were not addressed respectfully nor professionally. The individual responding to the questions was in the rear of the room, interrupting us when we were speaking and raising his voice, all while eating a lollipop. I felt humiliated, put down, and blatantly disrespected in front of my colleagues. The change in our job description, which is, by the way, the longest job description, should not take place without proper process. Being forced into a training to do something is not proper process.
Thank you. Your time is up. Next, I have Ana Eras, followed by Kathy Bassini, followed by Adina Flores. Ana.
Buenas noches, doctora Morales y miembros del Consejo. Mi nombre es Ana Eras, Lois. Soy facilitadora de compromiso familiar en María Carrillo. Entendemos que se han contratado intérpretes del distrito para las traducciones de las reuniones de los planes de educación individualizado. Su descripción del trabajo establece que deben brindar interpretaciones simultáneas y consecutivas en reuniones escolares, comunitarias y del distrito y en situaciones legales, como estas reuniones. La descripción de trabajo nuestro de facilitadoras de compromiso familiar establece que simplemente debemos asistir con estas reuniones, sin mencionar las interpretaciones para situaciones legales. Los facilitadores de compromiso familiar tienen un nivel 20, lo que significa que el salario inicial es menos de $22 por hora. A pesar de que se les exige que hablen español e inglés con fluidez. La diferencia de salario entre el trabajo nuestro y el de traductor del distrito, estando nosotras en el nivel 20 y los traductores en el nivel 33, es de aproximadamente $10 de diferencia la hora. Además de esto, a las facilitadoras de compromiso familiar no se les da la opción de recibir el estipendio bilingüe que reciben otros empleados, para el cual también se les hace una prueba. Nos sentimos poco valorados. La capacitación o presentación de 20 minutos que nos dieron la semana pasada es insuficiente para fines de traducción e interpretación. Esta capacitación o presentación no me enseñó ni a mí ni a otros una traducción precisa. Además de eso, durante esta reunión, el doctor Castro tuvo una actitud muy cuestionable hacia una de nosotras cuando ella intentó hacer una pregunta. Todos nos sentimos subestimados y
Ya se le terminó el tiempo.
en esta reunión para
Ana.
escuchar y hacerlo.
Ya se le terminó el tiempo. ¿Iba usted a traducir o alguien le iba a traducir por usted? ¿Quiere empezar lo de inglés?
Translate.
Okay.
Good evening, Superintendent Morales and members of the board. I'm going to do almost the same version of her in English. My name is Marlene Soria. I'm the Family Engagement Facilitator at Pioneer and have been Family Engagement for 8 years. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the Family Engagement Facilitators and many job changes that have been spoken about for the current Family Engagement position. Last week, Multilingual Services held their monthly meeting in which we were introduced to the fact that family engagement facilitators will be used for translation of simple or basic emergency IEPs. Several family engagement facilitators and myself have come to an agreement that there is no such thing as simple or basic IEPs. The terminology for IEPs is difficult to explain and understand in English. Can you imagine how much harder it is in Spanish? IEPs are legal binding documents which requires accurate translations, interpretations. Providing misleading information during a very important IEP meeting can potentially lead to legal proceedings for Santa Rosa City Schools. The 20-minute training that was given to us is insufficient for translation or interpretation purposes. Are we supposed to pause the meeting, pull out a dictionary or a glossary to find the correct term to translate? This training did not teach myself or others accurate translation. It is our understanding that the district translators have been hired for this purpose. These people hired for these district translation positions take assessments to prove that they are fluent enough to translate for these meetings. Again, their job description states that they are to provide simultaneous and consecutive interpretations at school, community, and district meetings and in legal situations such as IEP meetings. The family engagement job description states we're simply to assist with an IEP, not mentioning interpretations for legal situations. And not to mention, again, the difference in pay between the family engagement and district translator job is almost at the $10 in difference. We are bombarded with work helping our families figure out that our areas of educational system. Take this into consideration as the changes to the family engagement job position are being spoken of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Kathy Bassini, followed by Adina Flores, followed by Vivian Morris. Kathy?
Good evening. My name's Kathy Bassini, and I've been working for the school district for 19 years and at Pioneer High School as the admin assistant. Well, what can I say? I'm back. But better yet, we're back. Look at this room. We're back. And we're going to keep coming back until we're given an appropriate offer. We're back because you haven't given us even an offer that we can refuse. Yet you gave yourselves a raise. How is it possible that the lowest paid employees aren't even given an offer when the teachers, the admin, and the board get a raise? Don't you find that ethically unjust? That was not a rhetorical question. I hope that in the future you are going to give us a raise, a fair offer, because if not, we're going to keep coming back. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Adina Flores, followed by Vivian Morris, followed by Poppy Johnson. Adina?
Good evening, Board and Superintendent. This moment's bittersweet because, again, Mr. Sheffield, why do you walk away every single time I speak? I am the former executive assistant to this board and superintendent. I was illegally forced out as a protected whistleblower in January of 2023. You have now finally, after nearly 2 years, decided to approve my settlement agreement, and I'm getting nearly 80% more than I initially asked for. So while you can claim there was no wrongdoing, I think the money speaks for itself. So how will I be spending this money? Because I do follow Christ as a public servant. That's what we're supposed to do. The 4 shady ones are sitting on the right side of the dais. That would be Mr. Medina, Ms. De La Cruz, Ms. Manieri, and Mr. Sheffield, who stepped away, and they know absolutely why. So with the funding, as Ms. Feather Cruz expressed previously, who leads the Indian Education Program, they don't get any funding because they're not a political voting bloc for you guys. So I am personally and have already donated to that program, and I will make sure they get their $8,000 by the time the graduation takes place. That being said, you have classified staff who are present that are very upset because you guys gave yourself a raise before giving them a raise. And I know the strategy. They may not be able to take you on as a board, but they can go after your individual finances, and I will help them finance that if they need to. I will help them to take legal action until you guys get the point. So you guys really need to stop pushing these political narratives. It's very obvious why you brought on a superintendent that could not control a budget that was 1/10 of this size. and was placed on investigation for that very issue. You guys are intentionally trying to hand this district over to the state because you're getting federal funding to push indoctrination. So instead of Raíces Collective, we need BIPOC Collective on campus, and I would be more than happy to fund that organization. So thank you and God bless.
Next, we have Vivian Morris, followed by Poppy Johnson, followed by Jeremy Arnold.
I believe Vivian Morris is for F3, perhaps, is the message I got. And, okay.
Jeremy Arnold, followed by Teresa Tovar, followed by Kristen Colgrove.
Good evening, Dr. Morales, school board members. My name is Jeremy Arnold. I am proud to serve as CSEA's labor relations representative, serving CSEA 75. We're back again. We're back again to demand our long overdue raise. Teachers, managers, board members all got their raises. Classified, the lowest paid in your district, were left in the dust. Chris Rogers, your friend, was on our picket line outside. He's behind us. Your friends over at the North Bay AFL-CIO Labor Council are behind us, but it's you who continue to stand in our way. I'm astounded that you are set to renew an independent charter tonight where workers have no rights, no contract, no representation, where kids can be kicked to the curb because they have an IEP or because they're having adverse behaviors. Meanwhile, you're talking about shutting down 4 of our district schools, 2 elementary, 1 middle, and a high school. You know, if you want to see who is the enemy of organized labor in Santa Rosa, who is the enemy of public education in Santa Rosa, take a look in the mirror. It is malpractice to be shutting down these district schools, and you are hemorrhaging your ADA. So take that into account, because this community is not going to stand for it, and you better believe your staff will not stand for it either.
Next, we have Teresa Tovar, followed by Kristen Colgrove, followed by Marlene Saria, I think it is. Teresa?
Hello, board members of Santa Rosa City Schools. I've been working with Santa Rosa City Schools since 2016. I work as a transitional assistant for the 18 to 22 program. My job is teaching young adults job skills, baking, cooking, community, and transportation. I really enjoy my job, but sometimes it comes with difficulties of thinking, is this the year I'm going to work 2 jobs or pick a different career? We need a raise. My family is living paycheck to paycheck. Gas, food, bills keep going up, and the pay is too low. It looks like we're not getting anywhere. It sure would be nice to have a rainy day fund or even enough to plan a family trip. Sometimes I'm doing 2 jobs because we don't have any subs, or you're paying more to an agency instead of investing in good workers. If the pay was better, maybe you wouldn't have to pay some of these agencies to take the jobs that are open. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kristen Colgrove, followed by Marlene Saria, followed by Hania Nazario.
This may be recycled, but it's worth repeating. Imagine walking into your child's school and finding no one to greet you with a smile, no one to help you enroll your child, no one to tend to your child when they scrape their leg or bump their head, no one to administer medication to your child, no one to translate for you in any language, including sign language. No one to clean the toilets at the end of the day, no one to discard the trash, no one to clean up the urine, the blood, and the vomit. No one to set up, break down, and clean the lunchroom. No one to laminate the placards on their desks, no one to fill the copy machines with paper, no one to issue textbooks and Chromebooks to their students. No one to organize the library and reshelve its books. No one to supervise your child at recess and make sure they're safe from strangers and injury. No one to order supplies and inventory them. No one to answer the phone when you call. No one to assist with fire drills or actual emergencies. No one to prepare and serve the food your child needs to nourish their body and their mind. No one to watch your child after school because your workday doesn't end until 5, but school ends at 2:25, 1:05, or even 11:30, depending on the day. No one to take attendance, pay the bills, or keep the records. No one to prevent truancy. No one to issue payroll checks. No one to assure the absent teachers have substitutes. No one to post open job positions and process new employees. No one to fix the broken chair, desk, or air conditioner. No one to mow the lawns, trim the trees and the bushes, or rake the leaves. These are just a small percentage of jobs done by classified staff. At this point, my wish is that you do realize one day when we all walk out the door on the same day and wish you good luck in running your schools.
Next, we have Marlene Soria, followed by Hania Nazario, followed by Tina Rogers. Marlene?
Good evening, board members. My name is Hania Nazario. My friends' names are Aiden, Daisy, and Hazel, and we're in 3rd grade at Cesar Chavez Language Academy, and I would like to talk about the school lunch. My friends and I have been liking the changes to our school lunch because we now have a salad bar. We like the school lunch because it's a lot healthier and it isn't just frozen. I also like how the lettuce is fresh and clean, and so are the cucumbers. I have only one suggestion. I think there should be more types of dressing. In my opinion, there should be balsamic vinaigrette, as I think ranch is a bit unhealthy. Thank you for listening, board members. Now I may do it in Spanish. Buenos noches, miembros de la Junta. Me llamo Hania, mis amigos llaman Daisy, Hazel y Aiden, y estamos en tercero en Cesar Chavez Language Academy. Yo quiero hablar sobre el almuerzo de la escuela. A mis amigos y a mí nos ha gustado la nueva opción de ensalada en la escuela. A nosotros nos gusta la comida porque es más saludable y no solo es congelada. También a mí me gusta el lechuga y los pepinos porque son frescos y limpios. Yo solo tengo una sugerencia y es que haya otro aderezo como vinagreta de balsámico, ya que el aderezo de ranch no es menos saludable. Gracias para escuchar, miembros de la Junta.
Muchas gracias, Hania. Do we still have Marlene? Or no? If not, Tina Rogers. Tina
Okay.
Rogers.
Yeah, I'm like, I never know like what's on the agenda. So I want to say hello, everyone. My name is Tina Rogers. I'm a multicultural arts educator. I'm one of those people that are not certified nor classified. I've been over 30 years. I've been going into like districts all throughout Northern California, Davis, Sacramento area, Woodland, and all that. So I know what you do. I know when, people drop their children off in the morning and they're at work or doing whatever they're doing and the kids are there from morning until like 2, or then some of them stay into after-school programs till 6. Then the parents get the kids and you guys got to feed them, maybe bathe them, maybe do something like that. You know how many hours people spend with them. I was one of those people too, never after-school person, but bonjour, comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Tina, ça va? I just left earlier from at the Santa Rosa French American Charter School doing hip-hop after school. For the kids for the parents that can play, and then there's also ELOP. But I'm a equal opportunity person. I grew up here in Sonoma County. Sorry, I was born in '69, so I've been living in Windsor in like 2 weeks and all that. So when we say Biba, Cesar Chavez Learning Academy, your principal was Carol Ellis, a Black woman, and she was a principal at Cook Junior High. And so all of Roseland and all that whole area and all that stuff was all like of Black people, Martin Luther King Jr. Park, all that kind of stuff down. So you had a lot of people. So when we say, hey, yeah, we're going to support Rankin Valley Middle School to be changed, the Carol Ellis, there's lots of reasons. So I know each time you can come back. I really came here to talk about, hey, happy harvest season and it's Indigenous Peoples Months, but some of us are forgot. The grandparents of humanity. We're not Black, we're not African American, we're not Negro, we were called color, we're called Native American, we're called Indigenous. The grandparents of humanity. So in January, we're going to celebrate Martin Luther King birthday celebration. And I'm here to ask everybody in Santa Rosa Middle, in the city schools, and everybody else that's paying attention, please have your kids do the oratorical, write the essays, do the poster art contest. The library support us, the district support us. We're here for all kids, not one race, not one ethnicity, all of us.
Thank you, Tina. Your time is up.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I have no more cards. We'll now go to our online speakers. Are there any online speakers?
There are members of the public joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on the non-agenda or consent items. Please raise your hand. Again, this is for non-agenda items and consent items at this time. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. President Medina, there are no hands raised.
Thank you. Seeing no additional speakers, we will now move on to our report section. And we will start off with California School Employee Association, Santa Rosa 75 chapter report. President Lehman, floor is yours.
Good evening, President Medina, Governing Board, Superintendent Dr. Morales, Student Board Member, Cabinet members, and everyone listening tonight. Thank you to the classified staff and community who came tonight to show the district that we care about the students, our kids, our families, our schools. Thank you. I want to say congratulations to Bonnie Lopez, the Classified Employee of the Month from Abraham Lincoln School. And Zachary Ross from Herbert Slater Middle School. We are looking forward to the upcoming Professional Development Day, November 1st, dedicated to safety training for all staff on the Essential 5 and the Incident Command Structure. We appreciate the work being done by all to make this happen. So I want to thank all the public comments from our members tonight. Do I have anything more to say? Yes, I have another poem to read. A Promise Deferred. We hope the district keeps its word, a promise etched, but yet unheard. By December's cold, the pay will flow, while others felt that warmth long ago. Have you been enjoying your steady stream? We've waited months, 4 like a distant dream. 2 more months before we see the value placed on workers like me. Why the wait, the endless delay to meet the reserve, they say. Expenditures fixed, numbers aligned, as we count each dollar, day and time. Let's rewind, review, and see. An April letter held the key. SCO's demands actions to take to save the district from fiscal ache. A plan required reductions clear to meet the 3% to quell the fear. Yet raises flew to those on high, while we, the lowest, still scrape by. July brought news of deeper cuts, deficit spending, tightening ruts. And though the teachers' deals were made, our pleas for fairness were delayed. August came with another blow. No offers for us until December's show. But we, the unseen, keep schools alive with bus drivers, aides, and all who strive. Custodians, cooks, office staff, too. Part-timers working without a clue of when the tides will turn our way, of when we'll see an equal day. We're not just dreaming, wishing in vain. We're asking for fairness, for relief from this strain. For the schools we run, for the kids we care, it's time the district proves it's fair. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lehman. I believe we don't have an SRTA report, is that correct?
That's correct.
So we will now move on to our superintendent's report.
I'll wait till they leave since I don't have a voice.
All right, we'll wait a couple minutes. Wait a quick minute. I can't see, there's a big light glaring at me.
The doors are open.
Is that for air probably? All right, let's go.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for those of you that stayed. My voice sounds a little funny. I'm fighting a head cold, not contagious, just a lot of sinus issues. We're currently working really deeply with our team around our LCAP and budget roadshow that we will take around the county, talking about our updated LCAP and also talking and updating all of the community around the work that's being done by our school consolidation and closure committee, as well as our fiscal stabilization committee. So I know that it's hard to give input and ask questions in a board meeting, but when these dates come out and we're going to be at five or six different places around the community, please show up at those spaces and give us your thought and your input. I continue to work with our restorative working group, putting together a comprehensive framework that helps us see how our restoratives are working at each of our campuses in order for us to really measure the impact that they're having, the work that they're doing. And so we continue to put that together. We hope to bring a draft of that framework to the board in November. We're also starting very preliminary conversations and planning to come together and create a district-wide profile of a graduate for our high schools and a promotion profile for our 8th graders and 5th graders to have a holistic view of what our students will achieve at each of those milestones as well as when they graduate. And it'll be holistic in that it'll address academic, social and emotional learning, behavior, as well as the work that we're doing with our restoratives. This week, we had our very first Superintendent Student Leadership Council. It was my favorite day of the week, being with 25 of our high school students representing our 5 comprehensive schools. And I'll leave it at that so our trustee Suniga could share what we actually did on that day. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Morales. As for me, first, I just want to remind everybody, voting is in full effect. So if you can vote, vote. I know there's several of our sites that are also polling places during the weekend and day of election. So if that's one of your spots, head on over, but just make sure to have your voice heard in that manner. I do want to let folks know that on November 6th, we're having a special board meeting, a study session on everything tied to the fiscal stabilization plan. I think it's a very critical meeting for us as a board to be informed of all the things that are going on that will feed into that fiscal stabilization plan, because there's a lot of very difficult difficult decisions that this board will have to make, and we need to be well informed, and that'll be an opportunity also for the public to hear some of the things that are happening. But with that said, I'll open it up to the board for reports. Trustee De La Torre.
Good evening. Thank you, President Medina. First off, sad that CSCA has left, so I could tell them thank you for being here. Thank you for filling the room and bringing your voices and making an investment in time into what's important to you so that we can hear about it. That's what this chamber's for. That's what this room is for voices to be elevated and concerns to be brought so that we have all the information needed to make decisions as best possible forward for all involved. That being said, I just wanted to lift up the Maria Carrillo High School's music program for an amazing fall performance and share a personal story of something that was unexpected and just blew me away. Watching the performance, there was mariachi, and then the festival band stepped up and played Marcha de Zacatecas. I knew nothing about this song. I knew nothing about the state anthem for the state of Zacatecas in Mexico. And my grandfather, my namesake, is from Pinos, Zacatecas. So I recorded this song just having the connection to that state so I could share it with my grandmother. And a couple days after the performance, I went to my abuela's house and I played her the video, and she immediately started crying because she knew what it was. She was able to share with me what it meant. My grandfather passed away a few years ago, and to her, that was a message of him that he was there and still watching over her and loving her. So to have such a connection through music, through the beautiful art programs that our schools provide, and be able to bring that home and get more history on my family that was never shared with me before was a beautiful moment. And to share the mariachi with my grandmother and have her singing the lyrics in her native language of Spanish along with the students as they are performing, which is a very special moment. And I really want to thank the music teachers and the program and the amazing musicians, students that were able to provide those opportunities, and look forward to going to other performances as time allows. I know it's something that we're very proud of this district to have those opportunities, and look forward to finding ways to continue those growing. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Manieri.
I was also able to attend the Maria Carrillo High School concerts last week and saw the amazing work that Profe Matthew over there and his team are doing to bring culture and to celebrate the diversity of the Pumas community. It was really wonderful to see. So just congrats to such an amazing performance. I know that there were several evenings, so I hope everyone is also getting a lot of rest after a lot of performance. That's a lot of hard work. And speaking of music and arts, you may have heard that the Elsie Allen High School and the Cesar Chavez Language Academy bands were accepted to march at Disneyland in June 2025. It is such a big feat. Everyone is so excited for our bands, and they are raising money. So it sounds like CCLA needs to raise $25,000 and Elsie needs to raise $35,000. So they are looking for donors, they're looking for sponsors. Right now for the Cesar Chavez band, you can get in contact with Mr. Thompson about how to donate. And for the Elsie band, if you Google Elsie Allen High School Disneyland, the first link that pops up is a link to donate. And if you own a business or know business owners who might be able to sponsor, please get in touch with Mr. Thompson and Mr. Nava so that you can get connected and hopefully become a part of this wonderful journey. I hope that we can raise these funds so that they can represent Santa Rosa City Schools in Disneyland in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member reports? Trustee De La Cruz.
I am going to jump on this bandwagon of lifting up excellent news for Santa Rosa City Schools art programs. The Santa Rosa High School Symphonic Band was one of 5 bands in the country to be selected to go to New York and perform at Carnegie Hall at the 2025 New York Wind Band Festival. And not only have we been selected as one of 5 bands to perform, but The band was also selected as the new music initiative band for 2025, which means that the band gets to work with a composer to commission a new piece of music that will be written literally for our band to play in the world premiere of that piece in Carnegie Hall. So as you can imagine, like going to Disneyland, like going to these places, this will cost a lot of money. And this band is similarly doing fundraising and asking for support throughout the community. And so just big props to our wonderful band director, Mr. Tim Decker, who is also a Santa Rosa High School alum himself, and who is doing the beautiful work of making sure that this work continues throughout generations. So please keep your eyes peeled for ways to celebrate and to lift up the excellent work of Santa Rosa High School Symphonic Band going to Carnegie Hall.
Thank you, Trustee La Cruz. Trustee Sheffield.
Thank you. Last week, I attended the Big Crunch event at Hidden Valley Elementary, where Evan Wigg with Community Alliance with Family Farms, Ed Burke, our Director of Child Nutrition Services, and Principal Coscarelli, they all put on a great assembly for the kids that included an apple crunching activity. And if you don't know, this is part of a statewide initiative that encourages students to celebrate healthy eating while learning the importance of fresh local produce, where a lot of the food that goes into our school meals, and that's where they come from. We try to source as much as we can locally. So while I was on campus, I also visited with Ms. Haney to hear about City Schools Deaf and Hard of Hearing DHH program, which is housed at Hidden Valley. Maybe some of you may recall that Ms. Haney, she presented to the board last school year on the DHH Early Start program and the services that are provided to students and families throughout the county. And these services are for kids that are birth to 3 years old. And we are, I think, the only program in the county for students this age. So we have students that are coming from Kashaya. We have students that are coming from Healdsburg and Windsor, from down in Petaluma, that are coming to this campus. So I wanted to bring this up at tonight's meeting as we are looking at school consolidation and the uniqueness of this campus, having the infrastructure to support this very different style of learning environment. And so this is something for us to think about, something for us to consider, something that many people don't know exists within our school district, which exists on one of our campuses. It's a wonderful program. Board members, if you've not seen this, if you've not had a chance to visit, visit Ms. Haney. You go around at their recess, at their break time, and you get the best hugs. It's just incredible. It really made my week last week. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Sheffield. Just really quick following up, since Trustee La Torre and Trustee Manieri brought up the mariachi, I did want to say that I was excited to see that SRJC started their mariachi club, which hopefully will be a continuation of all of our students that are now experiencing mariachi in our schools through CCLA, Profe Matthew at Maria Carrillo, Profe Nava at LC Allen. Also, I saw LC Allen started raising. They're trying to raise $30,000 for the mariachi uniforms. I don't have a link, but I know they're trying to do that. They're expensive, but adding to what Trustee De La Torre said, I'm glad to see that this is something that's also now part of our ethnic studies curriculum, and it's incorporated into our schools, and hopefully will continue to grow as we move forward. So with that said, student board member Zuniga, report.
I have a report. Okay, so Monday was the superintendent student council's first meeting. And we went over introductions. We learned about the superintendent's story and what motivates her to be the amazing person she is in our district. We learned about the leadership in the district and the power structure and all of the very important jobs they have to keep this system running. We toured the new district office and learned about the different types of leadership styles there are in a successful and efficient team. We learn the styles that fit us individually and how we can work effectively with other leadership styles. We then grouped up with our high school cohorts to discuss what isn't working at our high schools, what needs adjustment, and what we need to keep doing. For homework, we were sent off with the task of surveying our peers on what comes to mind when they hear our core values: embrace, engage, empower. So this is the beginning of an amazing start to an organization, and I'm very excited to be part of the leadership. Shout out to all of the representatives from the different high schools. I also want to say, as we begin the second quarter and we get closer and closer to the end of the semester, school becomes increasingly difficult. And my heart goes out to all of the seniors that are going through college applications. And we can do this. It's really hard, but think of how amazing it's going to feel when we press that submit button. I also wanted to say that it is election season and Santa Rosa High School is holding a mock trial, a mock election. And so it's giving us, our students, the ability to get firsthand education on what's going to be on the ballot at the federal, local, and state level, but also to experience what it means to vote and how to vote. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Zuniga. We will now move on to our discussion and action items. First, we'll start off with item F1, action item resolution recognizing the week of November 4th through the 8th of 2024 as the week of the school psychologist. Mr. Fisher will be presenting.
Members of the board and Dr. Morales, on November 4th.
Is your mic on?
Hello?
There you go.
Better. Have to aim it right. Members of the board, Dr. Morales, we are recognizing the important work and role of school psychologists in Santa Rosa City Schools. They wear many hats in SRCS, assessing students to help determine whether the students are eligible for special education, providing mental health services, helping to write behavior plans, representing the district at IEP meetings, and many more hats. I want to share a few pieces of data with you and then turn it over to one of our wonderful and our most senior, in fact, school psychologists. In 2022, 2023, school psychologists for Santa Rosa City Schools performed 397 initial evaluations. These are students who were referred that might qualify for special education services, and 296 reevaluations. So well over 600 assessments, and that not to even mention behavior assessments, mental health assessments, and so forth. Mental health services, there are currently 373 students in Santa Rosa City Schools receiving ERMS, educationally related mental health services in the high school district and 50 in the elementary school district. Assessed by school psychologists, provided counseling services by school-based therapists or school psychologists. School psychologists right now are also at the forefront of the work we do to address the disproportional identification of English language learners in special education. Representation of English language learners with IEP is about 30%, which is about 10% above the representation in the district. And it's an issue we're working on very hard right now. And part of that is addressing appropriate assessment practices for such students. I now want to turn it over to Matt Park, to one of our school psychologists, to say a few words.
Good evening, board and Superintendent Morales. I've been a school psychologist at Santa Rosa City Schools since 2013. Over that time, I've worked at Santa Rosa High School, Kid Street with my wonderful friends at Hidden Valley and Kid Street, Santa Rosa Charter for the Arts, Slater, Comstock, Montgomery High School, and Santa Rosa Middle School. As a school psychologist, we have a privilege of working with students, families, and teachers and administrators in an attempt to get struggling students access to their education. School psychologists are in a unique position. We get training in understanding a wide variety of learning challenges that students face, including learning disabilities, social, emotional, and behavioral challenges that impact student learning. We're trained in counseling techniques and in consultation skills that help students, families, and the school system connect, identify challenges, and work towards solutions. Over the years, I worked with so many students and families here in Santa Rosa. It is one of the largest school districts between here and between San Francisco and Portland, if not the largest. When I first started here, we got down to as many as 12 school psychologists to cover 15,000 students. With the support of Santa Rosa City Schools and the Special Services Department, we now have over 20 school psychologists in the district, which has led to better student outcomes. We support students to access their education in a variety of settings, including those who need extra support in general education, classroom, to supporting students in one of our many specialty programs, including the RISE program for students with autism, our Counseling Enriched program, our Extensive Needs program, and our 18 to 22 program. I had the pleasure of working with the SEP Counseling and Education program at Santa Rosa High School in Montgomery for a few years. In that time, I had the pleasure of working with a wonderful group of and dedicated staff and met some amazing students. We were working with students who, for some reason or another, needed significant social, emotional, and behavioral support to get through a day and to stay in school. One student in particular still resonates with me. He struggled to connect with peers, had a very inflexible way of thinking and interacting with others, and exhibited some challenges outside of school with his family. He stayed in our program with the support of his wonderful teacher and classroom support staff and graduated. It's not always easy to know what happens next with a student we support, except for the rare chance meeting out in the community. I recently ran into this former student at his place of employment. It was great to see him find his place and excel at a job that not everyone would excel at. This type of experience happens to all the time to school psychologists in our group. We're often trying to support some of the most challenging students on our campuses and can only hope that with the correct support from ourselves and our amazing teachers and support staff, that these children enter adulthood and with their academic skills, behavioral strategies, and coping skills that help them achieve success along their life's path. It is something that we as school psychologists are always thinking about and will continue to work towards in our career. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Board, any questions, board? Seeing no questions, oh, yeah. Go ahead, trustee Flores.
Sure, questions here. So thank you. I know school psychologists do a great job at, making sure that, our students in 504s and special education get tested. But aside from that, they also provide counseling services that most people don't know. What is our ratio district-wide for school psychologists to student?
Ratio of school psychologists. Pardon me, we currently have 24 school psychologists, 14,000. I'd have to do the math quickly, but 24 to 14,000. What's that?
About 800 is my guess.
800 approximately.
800. Okay, so yeah. So thank you. That's a large sort of caseload. I just want to point out that we've made strides because our caseloads were a lot bigger a few years back, right? And we look forward to making sure that our caseloads become even smaller so you can do more targeted counseling and do an 800 to 1. It's quite a bit of work. So I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do. As a school counselor who works really closely with school psychologists, I see the work that you do every day. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, trustee Flores. Any other board comments, questions, I mean? Seeing none, we'll go to public comment. I don't see any cards. Any online comments?
There are members of the public that would like to comment on item F1. Please raise your hand at this time. President Medina, there are no hands raised.
Thank you. So it comes back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by trustee Flores, seconded by trustee La Cruz.
De la Torre. Or was it De la Cruz? Okay.
Oh, I heard it over here.
Going deaf.
Throwing me off my game. If there's no further
It's
discussion.
one of the Delas. Yeah.
Let's go to the vote.
Student Board Member Zuniga,
Aye.
Trustee Flores,
Aye.
Trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield,
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz,
Aye.
Trustee McNally,
Aye.
Trustee Manieri. Aye. President Medina.
Aye. Thank you. Now we will move on to our next item. This is a discussion item on the West County Transportation Agency, an update. I'll let Associate Superintendent Lisa August take the lead.
Good evening, Superintendent Morales, Dr. Morales, President Medina, members of our SRCS board and our SRCS community. Thank you for having us here this evening. I'm joined this evening by Chad Barksdale, the Director of West County Transportation Agency, the Joint Powers Authority that assists us with our transportation, as well as Eric Oden, our Executive Director of Facilities Maintenance and Operations, as transportation falls under our respective areas within business services. I'll share my screen in just a moment, and I will hand over the presentation to Mr. Barksdale.
All right. Good evening, Santa Rosa City School board members, Dr. Morales, Superintendent Morales. I appreciate the time for me to come and update you. In front of us here today, we'll have a quick update of where we're at with West County Transportation as it relates as a whole and as it relates to Santa Rosa City Schools. Routes and staffing, what I have in front of you here today is a comparison between last year and this year. We have 49 sped ambulatory routes. We currently have 3 uncovered. Sped wheelchair routes, we have 13 and 3 uncovered. We have van routes, which is 22 with 2 uncovered, and gen ed routes with 4 uncovered routes. If we look at the comparison between 23 and 24, we have less uncovered routes, which is a positive thing. So if we look at total routes, we have 119, which is 7 more than we had last year, but we only have 12 uncovered compared to the 16 we had last year. So total routes, we talk about 139 with 12 openings right now versus 132 and 19 opened last year. So we've added 7 routes to our routing scheme, and we have 7 less uncovered routes. So we have a net difference of plus 14 drivers between last year and this year. And we currently have 12 in training right now. If we get the 12 in training right now, certified within the next month or 2, we should have no open routes as long as that normal attrition doesn't happen. Special needs ridership. The reason I bring this up because it's always fluctuating, and it's probably your area that is most impactful when it comes to transportation for Santa Rosa City Schools and our agency as a whole. In 22-23, we had a total of 926, where 485 of them were Santa Rosa City Schools. Last year was 929, with 535 of them with Santa Rosa City Schools. And this year, we're at 965 as of October, with 562 of them being Santa Rosa City School students. This here is a comparison of total routes that West County Transportation Agency has to Santa Rosa City School bus routes in a comparison to the actual students and their current percentage of use. So our general education routes, we have 35 total right now, which 17 of them are dedicated with Santa Rosa City Schools, which is about 42.1% of our total in comparison to the whole agency. And then our special needs students, 965, 562, which is about 58.3% of our total special needs students with the agency. One of the things that we've been working on our board is trying to align with the Essential 5 evacuation. We know that counties throughout Sonoma are working on this, and we want to make sure that we are aligned with the school districts we provide service to, primarily to make sure that we have mimicking language, terminology. Furthermore, we want to make sure that part of that plan, in the event we need to evacuate, we have the necessary data and information to make an appropriate evacuation. Some of the schools, I don't know how you're going to get that information, but Lisa's going to, we'll need some information related to school totals, how many kids are there, how many wheelchairs are in the school, those type of things. So we can gather information and say, okay, if we're evacuating LC Allen, we need 6 big buses and 4 special needs buses with wheelchairs so that we can mobilize and get over there right away and have the proper equipment there. So those are some of the things we're working at with the agency and our school sites. Just an update on electric vehicle buses and infrastructure. As we move forward, we'll continue to grow in this area. Currently, we have 4 Ford E-Transit vans that we're operating daily on routes with children. Currently, with our current bus parking lot, we have infrastructure to support these EV equipments. That was part of our construction build that we just finished up. We are currently hopeful that we'll get a ZESB grant for buses and infrastructure. ZESB is a grant that's made, well, it's through the HFIB program, and the HFIB program created ZESB. And we are likely to get approved for 7 electric buses and partial funding for infrastructure. So basically, we've made it to the second round of grant process, whereas they've identified our agency as a higher priority agency due to the schools that we service based on the current Air Resource Board's at-risk models. We're also currently in line to receive a Bay Area Quality Management District infrastructure grant, and if awarded, we'll get about $603 to help with that process. Budget for Santa Rosa City Schools, I have the last 3 years here. Again, 42% for your general education, 1.7 roughly for the budget, and 58% of our special needs, which is roughly 5.8 million for a total of 7.6. And as you work your way down, you'll see that it steadily goes up. Some of it's related to some alignments we did with our pay structure at West County Transportation to make us more marketable. And then some of it's related to the increased percentage of use that Santa Rosa City School has. So with that, open for questions.
Trustee Flores?
Could you explain a little bit better the budget allocation? So we have general ed funding and special ed funding. So is the general ed funding restricted funding?
So as far as the agency, the way we build our budget is we have 2 separate categories. We have the home to school transportation, general education budget that's built around the live time and miles that the bus does in comparison to the total agency. So that's where we get the 42%, and we create that budget associated with that. And then the special needs budget is based on the number of students Santa Rosa City Schools has in comparison to the total agency, which generates about 59% for this year. And so we create budgets for both those categories. And then, go ahead.
As far as the funding side of that, from Santa Rosa City Schools, through our perspective, how we pay for that.
Right.
Special ed is obviously charged through the special ed resources, typically $6,500. The other remainder is actually from general fund. However, in our LCFF calculation, there is a dollar amount that is included for the original add-on. So in the formula for LCFF that determined our dollars, our base funding dollars, it includes whatever we had, whatever SRCS was awarded in 2013, 12-13 was implemented into 13-14 in the LCFF calculator. And now with the new 60% reimbursement, essentially the 60% reimbursement of our transportation costs comes after taking that amount off the top. So we take a look at all of our costs for transportation. We remove that dollar amount from the add-on entitlement in the LCFF calculator, and then we receive 60% of the difference of the expenditures through our allocation, our principal apportionment.
You know, I don't know about the rest of the board, but it would be very helpful if we have that information presented to us as well. I mean, what is exactly our portion of the bill? Because we are looking at budget cuts, right? And I'm looking at everything that comes on our dais here, and it would be very prudent for us to know exactly where the funding sources are coming from each individual line item here. So that's one. Two, now, if we're able to get the CESB grant for 7 electric buses, have we created a budget allocation in terms of maintenance and upkeep of electric buses?
Yes.
And what is your projection?
Well, it's included with our current, well, the major portion of maintenance, for example, is we have to bring in our vehicles every 45 days or 3,000 miles. With the electric bus, there are very few components that will wear out per se compared to a diesel or a gas motor where you're doing a lot of oil changes and fan belts.
Are we
things like that.
outsourcing I mean,
No, we're not
okay.
outsourcing. We'll do it locally. Most of the vehicle will be covered under warranty as far as the electrical components. So we'll be utilizing our local vendors for those.
Okay, so I mean, it would be so helpful for us to have that information in here as to, you know, it sounds great, right? I know in Healdsburg, we have one of those electric buses, right? So they're phenomenal. But if they do break, they're really expensive, right? So in terms of what stuff that comes up to us here, I would love to know exactly how much money is coming out of our general fund, especially in the time where we're looking at closing schools, right? This is, well, I'm gonna leave it to that, okay?
I will bring that information back as we're looking at our fiscal stabilization plan. Just a reminder for the board that I serve on the WCTA board and my alternate is Eric. So we are reviewing those things as those budgets are provided to the WCTA board. So the way that it works is very much like our SELPA board or things like that, where we have representation and we are one member of that entire group. We crowd just so that the public understands how that works. And so I will bring that information as part of our stabilization process, absolutely for you to look at.
Please do, because I mean, I think I said this, you know, a few times before. I was just taken aback when we were going through COVID and I saw a bill for $5 million for buses that we never used, right? That was very shocking to me. So, you know, I know we have an agreement. I know we have a joint agreement, right, that obligates us to have that, right? So I understand that. But at the same time, we are looking at, I hate to say austerity, but we're looking at cuts. So that would be so helpful for us to have. That's all for me. Thank you.
Other board member questions? Trustee Sheffield.
Thank you. Thank you for the update. Before I have a question, it is SB grant related, but I first of all, I want to say this was the first school year in my memory, minus the COVID years, where we didn't hear, you know, from a lot of parents at the start of the school year. So, you know, looking at these numbers where we're seeing increases in routes, decreases in uncovereds, that's great. Awesome. Love to hear that. Want to hear more. I want to hear more about the 12 drivers in training. And you, did you say next month is?
Unfortunately, in this state, it takes anywhere from 2 to 5 months to get
Okay.
a bus driver fully trained and certified. So we have several that are in training in various levels. Some are have their permits and they're starting to drive behind the wheel. So we have 20 hours in the class.
No, we want them fully trained. We,
Yeah.
you know.
20 hours in the class and a minimum of 20 hours behind the wheel. It usually takes around 35 to 40 hours behind the wheel to be proficient
Okay.
in our area. And then once we have that done, we have to schedule an appointment with a special CHP school bus officer. And as long as he's not on vacation, it's usually pretty good.
Okay. So, you know, I guess you said 12 drivers will, over the course of months.
Yeah,
you know,
I would
this-
anticipate within the next month and a half to 2 months, we will have them all trained.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Really good to hear. I wanted to get back to the ZESB grant because, you know, those electric school buses are pretty cool. You know, I've been seeing them for a few years at CSBA conference. You know, excited to see that. You say that we're likely to be approved. We're at second round. How likely? What are we looking at?
I'm real positive
Okay.
that we're going to receive them. I've had some conversations with the reviewers of the grant, and we had long conversations at the beginning because this wasn't originally a grant that was offered to JPAs.
Okay.
It was only offered to K-12 school districts because that's the way the language said. And then for years, I kept on seeing these folks at conferences. I'm like, well, you know, we're supporting these districts that are in these areas. And so then they allowed JPAs, but then they didn't consider the JPA as a whole a part of either a rural district or an at-risk district or a low-income district
Yeah.
school. And so we didn't qualify then. And then finally this year, it's like, look, these are the schools that we're supporting. Here's where they're placed. They're on your list and they have a map now. I don't know if you know, but the Bay Area Quality Resource Management Division has a map of areas that are considered most priority
Yeah.
to receive funding for these types of vehicles. And we finally got them on board to agree to that. And so we should be a very high priority. And it's the other thing is that the grant closed and then they reopened it. And it's still open. So that usually means they don't have enough people
Okay.
wanting to get school buses. And they actually released some of the criteria too, because you have to have a bus to turn in. And sometimes they don't take a bus that is considered heavy duty, even though the one that's underneath it has the same motor and the same pollutant. So they released some of those availabilities to increase the trade-in bus because you have to
Sure.
dismantle one in order to get one.
Okay.
And so, you know, kind of to your question is that it does reduce, we don't increase fleet, we just flatten out fleet. So what we were spending in repairing and maintenance on those seven vehicles that are going to be dismantled will now be spending on the new 7 electric buses. They're not additional buses to the fleet.
Okay. So then any plans moving forward about electrifying the whole fleet? Next
It's
steps.
going to be a slow process.
Uh-huh.
One of the challenges that we have in the industry is that school buses are limited to the number of batteries they can have, and therefore they only have a range of 80 miles.
Mm.
So especially on your big school buses, so you got a range of 80 miles. In order to maintain that in our agency is that you have to have a full charge in the morning and then you have to have time in the midday to get another full charge so you can do an afternoon route. So that means that you have to have a really high kilowatt charger, which is another problem we're running into because PG&E and infrastructure. So those are some of the things that we'll be running into in the near future that we're working on now.
And then I was just, you know, again, thinking forward, actualized savings from going electric on fuel, on maintenance. In the long run, these will be new vehicles, so they'll be under warranty for certain times, and then reinvesting those dollars, you know.
I would say I agree as long as the grants keep funding.
Yeah.
If the grants don't keep funding and then your cost for example, an electric school bus costs 3 to 5 times
Yeah.
more.
Oh, yeah.
And so as long as the Bay Area Quality and the state and the federal government keeps on providing funds, I think this will be something that our agency and other school districts around will start to move
I don't know
forward.
about the federal government, but we're fortunate to live in California,
Yeah.
where there is high
Yeah.
priority.
Yep.
And if it's a matter of working with PG&E, that's something that I think the benefit from our lobbyists, from the other
Yes.
district lobbyists as well, to work with state legislators, to work with Utilities Commission, it's a no-brainer here.
Right.
Um,
Well, and I'm sure you're aware by 2035, there will be
Exactly.
no new purchases of buses unless they're electric.
Right.
So,
All right. Well, thank you.
yep.
Other board member questions? I do. Thanks, nobody else. First off, thank you for your presentation. I did have a question about well, first off, on the electric buses, would those be the first 7 electric, or do you already have some?
We have 0 electric buses right now. We're currently operating what they call an e-transit van. It's basically a Ford Transit with electric power.
And I recall, I think at the last presentation you made, there was identified an issue with suppliers. There had been decrease in suppliers and for electric school buses. Has that changed, or is that still an issue?
No, actually, I think there's probably an increase since then because there's a lot of folks coming into the market. It's where the money's at, and so we have some folks that are, Canada. We have some folks that are coming from other countries that are branding in the United States with some quality equipment. But there are also I think one of the challenges that we run into is the body style. So the body style is a Chevy cutaway van, and then you have to add a bus body. So the cabin chassis is Chevy, you add a bus body to it, and then they have to take it to a company, and then they pull out the engine and then put back the electric stuff. And so that's how it works right now, because there's not a lot of current bus vendors that make a purpose-built EV bus. There are a couple out there right now, and they seem to be getting the more traction, the better results. And so I think the market will only grow, and hopefully with that, the price will drop.
And in terms of use of these, so it looks like we have 17 general ed routes in Center City Schools. I'm curious as to, because with SPED, we see it as a number of students, but with these routes, I'm wondering how full are these buses? How many students are we actually providing service for? And out of those, how many get the service free? And if they don't get free, what is it they're required to pay?
Sure. So if we look at the page where it shows routes and staffing, yeah. So where we've had our increase in the gen ed is 35. So actually, it's the page. So you had last year, it's not actually on here, but last year you had 15 routes, and this year you have 17. And then part of that, there's two reasons that happened. One of them is that we had some buses that were full, and we had to add buses. And then we had some bell time conflicts that we had to add a bus so that we can get to school on time. A majority of our gen ed buses are very, I wouldn't say very full, but some are very full, but some are full. We're maximizing as much as we can within the time period that we have between bell times. So I don't see buses that are empty. As far as those who are free and reduced, because of the nature of free and reduced, we do our own evaluation of free and reduced that they fill out. I don't have that number for you today, but I'll be happy to look at it. In fact, right now, we base it on the bus pass receive. So if we receive a bus pass request, they'll fill out the back of the form, and the back of the form will have the data information related to free and reduced. The other thing that is a consideration is whether or not they're,
The unduplicated pupil
Unduplicated.
count. We're actually working on our process right now with our information evaluation team and the team at WCTA to improve that, where we can identify students that should qualify without necessarily having to go through that process, or to do a cross-reference and provide a list so that that can cut down the burden on families of having to do that application twice.
yeah. And that's part of that 60% reimbursement law, is that we have to make sure that we're not charging unduplicated students for the service. So I think there was one more piece that you had.
Well, first, about how many students do we serve on those 17 routes? And then for those that do pay, what is the amount that they pay?
Or pull up our website, it actually has the costs for school bus pass as it relates to what we started to in 2016, 17, when you became members of the agency. It hasn't made any changes since then. It's stayed flat. The total number of students for Gen Ed, that number is still to be determined right now. One of the things that we're waiting on is the number of requests for school bus passes, because that directly influences how many kids that we count that are eligible to ride. The other thing we could do is actually do a physical count with our staff as they pick up students. So that is still to be determined, and I can share that information with Lisa. They can share it back to you.
I think that kind of semi-directly leads to my next question, which is about, well, one is, do the buses have GPS where you know where they're at? And second, has there been any look at, or is there a way of identifying which students are at a bus and when they got off? And that way you know how many you have each time in the context of safety and tracking students
Yep.
in emergency situations.
Yeah, so yes, all our buses have GPS, so we're able to track where they go. That GPS is also integrated with our routing software that we have, so that the stops will show you see where they actually came and whether or not they pick up students at a stop. We have tablets on our bus, so for the special needs students, we manually log them in and out of the bus, on and off the bus, which is going to allow parents and staff to see when they go on and off. The same thing happens with Gen Ed, is what we are asking for, and we get pretty good numbers, is that every student have a bus pass, and when they walk on, they scan on, and when they walk off, they scan off. Whether they're free or not, they can get a bus pass. That way, when we get those phone calls, said, hey, Johnny didn't get off the bus, we can say, okay, did Johnny get on the bus? Yes. And Johnny hasn't signed back off the bus yet. So we're going to call that driver and say, is Johnny on your bus? He should be. He scanned on but didn't scan off. Or if he scanned off, where did that individual scan off? So also, there is what we call a K-12 app that's built into our software that parents can sign up for so they can track their students on off.
Thank you. And the cost?
Yeah, the cost, the semester bus pass for paid is $147.50, and for the entire year, it's $252.50.
How much?
$252.50.
And is there any discounts for families that have multiple kids, or?
Let's see. I don't think so. Not for, and all we did was mimic what we had before. I couldn't answer you right now, but I don't want to spend time looking at that, but I don't think that Santa Rosa City Schools does have a multiple student discount.
And so in our board policy, it's set that we charge fees. That is something that is up to the board as far as whether that continues or not. We had originally started talking about that, I think, after I first came on board, whether that was serving us well. The concern now, if we were to remove it, has to do with our current fiscal stabilization. So that's, we can bring some numbers. I believe that when we spoke, it's about $26,000 that's generated through bus passes.
Cool. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. Board, any other questions?
It's not a question, it's just something I want to make sure that Superintendent Trinnell has this. Oh my God. Dr. Morales, sorry about that. President Medina mentioned count, and you said you were going to do physical counts, right? Per bus, per route. And if we can have those numbers, so we can take a look at which routes are the most popular ones. I just want to reiterate that, but I know that you got that down. Thank you.
And I think with that count also, how many actually pay versus how many don't. Seeing no other board comments, I don't see any blue cards for public comment on this. So we'll go to online.
There are members of the public joining us on Zoom who'd like to comment on item F2. Please raise your hand. We have a 2-minute time limit. Our first speaker is Lucinda Moore. Lucinda, if you're there and you'd like to speak, please unmute. One more time, Lucinda Moore, it's your turn to speak. If you'd like to comment on item F2, please unmute. Okay, we will maybe try to.
Oh, there's
Oh.
she clicked there.
Are you there? We'll try again. Maybe she can raise her hand another time. There are no other hands raised,
Okay.
President Medina.
All right. Well, with that said, we will move on. Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. And we will now move on to our next item on the agenda. So I'm now opening the public hearing on the Kidd Street Charter School renewal.
Thank you, President Medina, Superintendent Dr. Morales, members of the board, student, staff, community of Santa Rosa City Schools. Tonight, the board will hold a public hearing on the request by Kidd Street Charter School to renew its charter for a 5-year term starting on July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2030, serving pupils in grades TK through 6th. Kidd Street submitted its renewal to the district on September 5th, 2024. California Education Code 47605 calls for the board to hold a public hearing to consider public input on the request of Kidd Street to renew its charter. Staff will post their findings and recommendations no later than October 29th, 2024. The board will not take action tonight, but will take action to grant or deny the renewal on November 13th, 2024. And we'll have the opportunity at that time to ask questions, both of staff and the charter school. One quick correction in the documentation, it's stated TK8, it should be TK6. With that, I'll turn the item over to Board President Medina.
So we will. Wrong button. So I will go to public comment on this item. I have several speaker cards. You will each have 2 minutes to speak on this. I will call 3 cards at a time. If you hear your name, be prepared to speak. First, I have Poppy Johnson, followed by Vivian Morris, followed by Kathleen Malamo.
Good evening. Good evening, school board. My name's Poppy Johnson. I am in 6th grade at Kidd Street Charter School. I've been going there for about 2 years now. I moved here from my old school because it offered a better environment for me. From the first day, I felt welcomed by the other students in the school and by the staff. There were times where I have struggled to regulate my emotions, but at Kidd Street, I'm accepted. This school has been a great fit for me with its extracurricular activities. It has a robotics club, a writing club, and a leadership club. The highlight for me has been the school play. The production brings together kids from all grades, where everyone could participate and show off their special talents on stage and off stage for those who prefer lights or sound. As a student who goes to Kids Street, I really enjoy having these programs because I've been able to try out new things and make good friends. Also, we have a yearly ice skating field trip where we go ice skating and every grade attends. Kids Street is always doing something fun. All of us at Kids Street are like family. I remember before I even went to the school, I was touring the school. I walked in to the art room and I was welcomed by all the students. It was something I've never experienced and it made me feel welcome. I'm up here today to share how grateful I am to be part of a school that puts acceptance first and has helped me grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Pompey. Next, I have Vivian Morris, followed by Kathleen Malamo, followed by Vivian Morris again, by Rosalie Olachi, I believe it is.
Good morning, school board. My name is Vivian Morris. I'm in 6th grade. I've been going to Kids Street Charter for a little over 6 years now. It has been a great experience. I've learned so much and made so many friends. I've met 3 of my closest friends at Kids Street. I have learned kindness and responsibility because of my teachers, principal, and peers. All of my teachers have helped me grow so much socially and academically. Our principal, Kathleen, has made Kids Street a safe and caring environment for all students, staff, and families. My parents and I couldn't have asked for a safer and more supportive place to learn. Our principal and teachers have made sure that when we leave Kids Street, we will have the tools both academically and socially to thrive in school and the world around us. I ask you to keep this school open because it has so much to offer our community. My school offers free meals, free after-school programs, free school supplies, and free clothes to kids who need them. It is a school that our community can count on, and I am proud to be a member of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Kathleen Malamo, followed by Rosalie Balachi, followed by Liz DePrimo. Kathleen?
Good evening, board members and Santa Rosa City Schools staff and Superintendent Morales. My name is Kathleen Malamo, and I've had the honor of being part of the Kids Street Charter community for over 2 decades, 10 years as a teacher and the last 12 years as director. Tonight, I am before you joined by this vibrant and dedicated members of our Kids Street family who are here to show their unwavering support for the vital role of our school plays within this community. As outlined in the executive summary of our petition, we have made remarkable progress since our last renewal in 2017. Our growth is a testament to our commitment to excellence and our relentless focus on the success and well-being of our students. First, we have adopted a new assessment system recommended by the CDE as a verified data source. This system fosters a growth mindset by celebrating individual progress and potential. It empowers our students to set personal academic goals. Second, our intervention program has seen significant improvement thanks to partnerships with community tutors, the addition of teacher assistants, and the implementation of evidence-based instructional practices. Third, we have enriched our comprehensive social emotional learning program by incorporating trauma-informed practices. We are committed to cultivating a school culture that prioritizes well-being, empathy, and respect. Finally, as part of our STEAM initiative, we have expanded access to high-quality arts education, offering our students diverse experiences in theater, dance, poetry, and visual arts. This enrichment not only enhances their creativity, but also deepens their critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Kids Street Charter is a small school with an outsized impact, shaping the future leaders of tomorrow. With this in mind, we respectfully request a 5-year renewal to continue our essential work of serving the children and families in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Rosalie Balachi, followed by Liz DePrimo, followed by Christine Williams. Rosalie? Rosalie gone? Okay, Liz DePrimo.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth DePrimo, and I'm here to share my support for the renewal of Kid Street's charter. I'm a parent of 3 children. My oldest is 15 years old at Santa Rosa High School. My middle child is a 7th grader at Santa Rosa Middle, and my baby is 5 years old, and she's a kindergartner at Kid Street. My family found Kid Street 5 years ago after leaving a school where my then 2nd grader did not feel safe, where she was targeted for being Black and bullied, and the school was not prepared to support her. Kid Street was a haven for my daughter and for my family. It is hard out there for kids these days, and even harder for kids experiencing poverty, homelessness, discrimination, the foster care system, and so many other challenges. Kid Street's guiding principle of teach to the heart is the way. I believe they were ahead of their time. Now, community schools are up and coming all over California. Well, we have one right here with Kid Street. There is a lot that can be learned from Kid Street and all that they do for families and children about how to teach to the heart, how to meet families where they are so that children can have their needs met so that they are ready to learn. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Christine Williams. She's gone. No Christine, no Rosalie either. Okay. Oh. Oh,
She's Christine.
yeah, Christine.
Okay. I gotta get this. I gotta see you. Hi, I'm Christine Williams, and I'm here because I am a parent of a child who attended a Rincon Valley School District elementary school for the first 4 years, and due to class consolidation, was not allowed to return. So he struggled to find an alternative school that would meet their academic and social needs. I found Kid Street Charter School and started my child in 3rd grade. Smaller class sizes and a STEAM approach to learning, I immediately noticed a change in my child's excitement about school and learning. They went from disliking attending school every day to asking me to run spelling words on the way to school, asking me to challenge them with a subject he could create a PowerPoint presentation about. My child and I learned that he is a project-based learner, something that most kids don't ever get a chance to find out. Up to this point, he was a square peg who was trying to be pushed into a round hole. And at Kid Street, he was embraced, encouraged, and applauded to be his authentic self, which helped self-esteem and a joy of learning. Kid Street's programs help support its families, which in turn support the child. My child went on to a Santa Rosa City Middle School and is excelling at Santa Rosa High. And I think this is largely due to the enjoyment of education that he learned at Kid Street. The motto of this school is teach to the heart, and the mind will follow. I have no doubt that the hearts and minds of the students at this school will continue to flourish. This is a rare jewel of a school, and I hope the Santa Rosa City School Board will allow it to continue to sparkle. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other comment cards. Can we go to the online, see if there's any other comments?
There are members of the public joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on item F3. Please raise your hand. Lucinda, if you're there and you'd like to comment on item F3, please raise your hand. Did see your hand raised, but now it's gone. And I don't see any other hands.
Okay. Seeing no other hands, it comes back to the board. This is a public hearing. As Dr. Castro mentioned, this will come back for action to the board at our next regularly scheduled board meeting, which I believe is November 13th. Board, any clarification questions? Trustee Flores and followed by Trustee De La Torre.
Great. Thank you for that presentation. It was lovely. I have a few questions. So reading the very comprehensive report, 221 pages. Wow. Could you explain what middle performing is, and then what are options in terms of the state guidelines regarding AB 1505 as a middle performing charter school? What are our options as a school board?
I can answer it in layman's terms, probably. The middle school track is identified by the state of California. And if a school is in the middle performing tract, it's assumed that the charter will renew unless there is a reason that the board believes that the students are not making 1 year's progress. So the 1 year's progress is referred to in the petition under all of the MAPS growth testing, and that's the verified data that I was talking about. So we adopted that MAPS program probably, I think, 4 years ago when the state came out with that list to prepare for a renewal, which has also been an amazing program. We've loved it.
Thank you. Now, in terms of being compatible to other districts in the area. Now, I was looking at slide number 14 that has a demographic slides. Let me see, 14, right? We have ELA, math, chronic absenteeism, suspension rates. You know, do we have any information regarding other demographics, like a parent mentioned homelessness rates, foster rates, and how do they compare with the adjacent districts? Because that is another data point that the state will look at.
Yeah, I think that usually the board will gather their questions and then they'll send them to us and then we answer on the 13th, I believe. That's how it's worked before.
Okay, so this is the way to give you questions, or are you going to give us a Google form to submit a list of questions?
Whatever you would prefer, either way, yes. Now would be the time, if you have questions, you can submit them to us and I will forward them to the school. Yes.
Okay, so I would need a comparison in terms of, you know, not only ELA, math performance, you know, absenteeism, lateness, tardiness, truants, suspension rates, right? But also the demographic and subgroups and other compare to the rest of the districts in the surrounding area, right? Including special ed, homeless, foster youth, and yeah, that's pretty much all I had over here, special ed. Okay, so if we can have that information also attached to the report for the November 13th.
Okay, we also have available online right now, we have our F3 attorney I was gonna invite him to provide any additional clarifications with respect to that question that you had in terms of what middle performing means. I did want to add that part of the process is that we internally do a review of the renewal. So Ed Services reviews it, Special Services reviews it, our Multilingual Services Department also reviews it. And we provide that to John who's with Berg Williams and Sorensen, and he can provide anything right now. John, anything that in this conversation we overlooked with respect to the questions that the board has concerning, for example, what middle performing means or anything else with respect to the process and the questions that the board may have between now and the 13th of November?
I think you covered the gist of it. Middle performing is a designation provided by the state, and it's roughly based on the performance of the charter school students, both school-wide and in pupil subgroups relative to the state. And so staff will perform or provide the board a detailed analysis of why the charter school is considered middle performing, as well as of all the performance measures, including SBAC and also the alternative measures that the charter school provided. We'll break that down into subgroups. I will note that one of the reasons that the charter school was considered middle performing was that because it's a small school, there was only one subgroup that was statistically significant enough to actually have a disaggregated data, and that's for socially economically disadvantaged students. And for groups under 11, the state doesn't publish data for privacy reasons, but we can certainly work with Kid Street to get some performance by subgroup, especially in those areas that Trustee Flores identified: homeless students, foster children, special education students. We can get that directly from the charter school and have it anonymized, obviously.
Thank you.
That would be helpful. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Trustee De La Torre.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and the information. This is more of a request to the board, President Medina and Superintendent Morales. If we do have public hearings like this and like the action item that's going to take place on November 13th, if there's opportunities where it's going to have a high attendance of potential students and families, if there's a way to put this earlier on the agenda out of respect to those families. Thank you guys very much for being here. I love all the squiggles and wigworms. You guys are troopers. Thanks you for hanging out and letting us get to this information and how we have to do it. But if there's a way for us to be aware of that and kind of foresee if we're going to have a room of children, try and get that done so we can get them home.
We realized that after we saw the kids in the room. So yes, it should have happened earlier. So our apologies. Thank you for being troopers.
No other board questions? Seeing none, closing public hearing.
Thank you to all the students who spoke. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I would ask the board if anybody would object to hearing the public comment of Lucinda Moore, who was trying to comment earlier but was having mic issues. Lucinda Moore online. Okay, she's got her hand raised. Let's just hear the comment on, I think it was on F2. Okay, Lucinda, you got 2 minutes.
Thank you. I had technology issues. Thank you for the online comments. I was really looking forward to speaking on this item, so having online comments facilitated my participation. I'm getting over a cold and I'm tired after school days lately, so I really appreciate this, and thank you for taking my item after my tech issues. I reported in mid-September last school year at the annual West County report that from the start of school last year until their report, they dropped off 2 of my special ed students of mine late 30% of the time last year. And by spring, the students' tardy rates, all due to the buses, was 60% of the time. And it was my understanding that enough parents finally complained that by April and May, they finally started to pick the child up on time. And they have been since picking him up on time for this school year. And they were only late once this school year, which is acceptable to me. 5 other teachers personally shared with me their frustrations about tardy buses. And many teachers shared frustrations about time limitations for field trips and for athletics. So because of those limitations, they have to rent charter buses. I'm glad there's less uncovered routes and glad plans are being made to futurize the bus fleets with electric buses. If it's chopped up and retrofitted gasoline buses, how would they be under warranty and have 80-mile ranges and need to charge midday? What happens to field trips if the fleet is more electrified? And what will happen to field trips that are more than 80 miles long after 2025? And I noticed about 30 more students are being served this year, and I'm just curious what caused that change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lucinda. All right, we will now move on to our consent items. So can I get a motion on items?
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 9 and 11 and 12.
Second.
Okay, moved by Trustee De La Torre, seconded by Trustee De La Cruz. Vote, please.
Student Board Member Zaninga.
Aye.
Trustee De La Torre.
Aye.
Trustee De La Cruz.
Aye.
Trustee Sheffield.
Aye.
Trustee McNally.
Aye.
Trustee Manieri.
Aye.
Trustee Flores.
Aye.
President Medina.
Aye. Motion carries. So now for item G10, I believe trustee La Cruz is going to recuse herself. Oh, let him take a moment.
Let's go downstairs.
Okay, and item G10, is there any discussion? If not, a motion?
Motion to approve consent item G10.
Second.
Moved by trustee La Torre, second by trustee Manieri. Okay. You were louder. Okay, seconded by trustee Flores for being louder. To the vote.
Sorry, trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
trustee Flores,
Aye.
trustee Sheffield,
Before I say aye, I just want to again say this is really something we need to celebrate. We need to lift up. This is amazing. Band travels to New York, Carnegie Hall. It's incredible, as well as G12, the French American Charter Schools, chess students to travel to Cambridge. Yay! So aye.
trustee McNally,
Aye.
trustee Manieri,
Aye.
President Medina.
Aye. Thank you. Can we have trustees Zuniga and De La Cruz return back to the chambers, please? Somebody want to get trustee De La Cruz? Oh, she's coming. Yeah, I'm breaking records. Okay, now we'll move on to H, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting held on October 9th. Do I have
Motion to approve minutes of the regular board meeting held on October 9th, 2024.
Second.
moved by trustee? There was actually, so there's a motion and a second, but I did ask if we could slightly amend this. At the beginning of the meeting, it shows me present prior to closed session.
Mm.
So I shouldn't be listed as present until open session. So I just wanted to see if we could have that little change there. Any objections
Yes.
to that? Was a friendly amendment?
I can definitely make that change. If you look further down, it says that you're just cause starting an open session. So it's just the way that Assembly populates who's present, but I'll see if I can go in and change it.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Perfect.
There's a motion by trustee De La Torre, I think it was, and second by trustee Sheffield, and you guys were okay with that amendment? It's a friendly amendment? Okay, then let's go to the vote.
Student Board Member Zaninga,
Aye.
trustee De La Torre,
Aye.
trustee Sheffield,
Aye.
trustee De La Cruz,
Abstain.
trustee McNally,
Aye.
trustee Manieri,
Aye.
trustee Flores,
Aye.
President Medina.
Aye. Awesome. Now, if we go down to board member requests of information. Trustee Manieri?
Yes, I would like more information on the family engagement facilitator job description change that occurred, just to address some of the public comment that we heard earlier this evening.
I second that. Any other board member requests? I think as a follow-up to our West County presentation, I think I'd like also data on time rates, last year compared to this year.
On-time rates, that one?
Yeah, how late they are, if,
I've got that.
or on-time rates.
Already. So on-time arrivals?
Yeah, on-time rates and if the impact it's had on ADA or student absences or whatever, all stuff associated with that.
Got it.
Any other board member requests? If not, information items are listed there below. Our next meeting is the special board session, November 6th. Meeting adjourned.